Welcome back. It's another day on this side of the dirt, and it's a good one to talk about running backs. So we're gonna get into today the rankings for week 1, and it's look, there's not gonna be very many surprises. Our rankings are powered by the projections from our man Joseph Bryan, aka Quality Stats. And we're going to bring you a little version today of Chev GPT versus the Quality Stats. So I'm going to bring you our week 1 rankings. It's pretty chalk. I mean, honestly, we're talking about, we're nothing crazy. So without further ado, we're getting straight into it. Saquon Barkley is my RB1 on the week. That's pretty much in line with Joseph Bryan, with the Quality Stats projections. Currently, Saquon is coming off of the 2,000-yard season, and he is looking to build on that as the Super Bowl champion Eagles take on the Dallas Cowboys tonight. If you're seeing this, it will be tonight. And we're kicking football off, and Saquon's going to kick ass, and he's my RB1 on the week. Moving on. Next, we've got my RB1 in all formats this year. We've got Bijan Robinson. He does have a bit of a tougher matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week, but they're home underdogs, and Bijan Robinson is the definition of a workhorse. He averaged 27 touches a game with Michael Penix week 16 to 18, and in that span, he compiled 374 yards and 6 touchdowns. So I have a lot of faith in Bijan. He only averaged about 12 and a half carries a game against Tampa last year, but both of those games have potential to shoot out. And you're one spectacular play away from Bijan absolutely making your week. So he does come in at number 3 in the Quality Stats projections this week, but he's number 2 in my rankings. So we're a little bit different there. We have our first discrepancy. Moving on to number 3 in my running back rankings for week 1, we have Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey takes on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Last time he faced Seattle, he averaged about 129 rushing yards a game. Now, these are not your older brother Seattle Seahawks. They have shored up the run ever since acquiring Ernest Jones from the Tennessee Titans in week 8 of last season. So I don't know if Christian McCaffrey gets off to a super hot start. I do think this game has a chance to go way over the total just because you have offensive minds that are familiar and know the ins and outs of an elite system. So, yeah. I like Christian McCaffrey this week. He's my running back 3. He comes in the Quality Stats projections at running back 10, I believe. 9. I was one off. So he comes in at running back 9. So we're a little bit different there. There's a 6-spot difference between where the projections have him and where I have him for the week. Moving on to my running back 4. Let's not waste any more time here. You know who's going to be. I mean, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, and people are going to curse me because I have Jahmyr Gibbs this low. How could you not have him RB1 overall? Well, I mean, the Packers are pretty good against the run, and they just got a guy named Micah Parsons who apparently doesn't stop the run. I mean, there's a Packers fan that's going to see this that says, well, Micah Parsons is one of the most elite edge rushers in the history of playing American tackle football, and only Reggie White has more sacks and only had 4. Anyway, listen, here's the deal, okay? Here's the deal, and you need to understand this. Jahmyr Gibbs is about to run roughshod all over the Green Bay Packers this weekend. Currently, my RB4 on the week, he comes in the Quality Stats projections at running back 6. So, again, a little bit of a delta there. And, Jahmyr Gibbs is who he is. Against the Packers last year, he was actually quite bottled up. I mean, he did score a receiving touchdown, 6 for 30 in a receiving touchdown in the Packers' second matchup. The first matchup was just a rain-soaked mud fest and just nonsense. So Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't necessary. But anyway, all that to say, Jahmyr Gibbs, play him this week. You were going to play him anyway. I'm just telling you that this could be a potential boom week because every single week is a boom week with Jahmyr Gibbs. Moving on to my running back 5 on the week, we are aligned with the projections here. It's going to be Chase Brown. Chase Brown is a guy that I believe is the cheapest bet, rather, for a workhorse in an elite offense with no running back, with no competition. Basically, you get to do Kyron Williams things but in an offense where they also allow you to catch passes. So Chase Brown comes in against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I know it's supposed to be the hapless Browns, and they did fall off of a cliff once. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker who was rising to stardom, went on IR after trying to tackle Derrick Henry. After that, that defense kind of curtailed a bit. So interested to see what Chase Brown does. I mean, we all know the stats. If you've heard anything I've said at any point ever in any of my videos regarding Chase Brown this offseason, you know Chase Brown, only Devon Achane had a higher team target share from weeks 9 to 18 last year. 17, because he didn't play week 18 because he had an ankle injury. And only 3 other running backs averaged more points per game during that stretch than Devon Achane. Beyond that, no one averaged more expected fantasy points per game than I said Devon Achane. That's funny. I meant Chase Brown, but we're going to get to Devon Achane in a second. So, yeah, Chase Brown, my RB5 on the week. He's a workhorse in an elite offense. Fade him at your own risk. Moving on to my running back 6 on the week, we have Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor takes on the Miami Dolphins. He previously played them. He's only played them once. He played them in 2021, and he went over 100 yards. There's potential for this to do this again. I mean, I like Jordan Brooks and Zach Sealer and some of the players that they have over there with the Dolphins, but I don't think that they're going to be able to hinder Jonathan Taylor in any shape, form, or fashion because of the fact that they're going to have to lead. The Colts are going to have to lean on Jonathan Taylor, and Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are playing and coaching for their lives as employees of the Indianapolis Colts. So Jonathan Taylor is my running back 6 on the week. Moving on to running back 7. Well, and the model, just so you know, has Jonathan Taylor at RB2 on the week. So moving on, we've got Derrick Henry at Buffalo. That's my running back 7. Devon Achane at Indianapolis is my running back 8. I really like this matchup a lot. I mean, I think Devon Achane, we all know when Tua was in the lineup, he averaged 22.7 fantasy points per game, and he's almost a lock for 100 targets this year at the running back position. Now, moving on to running back 9, another game that I think has potential to go over, that is going to be Bucky Irving coming in at my running back 9. He's the RB7 in the quality stats projections. So we're pretty much aligned there. So just to run that down, so if you're keeping track, that's Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, Chase Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving. The model has Ashton Jeanty at 8. We'll get to Ashton Jeanty in a second. Actually, let's just go there now because I have Ashton Jeanty at my running back 16 on the week. They're a West Coast team traveling to the Eastern time zone for a noon kickoff. I don't like those matchups. I don't think that, the culture that the Patriots are going to establish of stopping the run, and with Christian Barmore back healthy after the blood clot incident and Robert Spillane coming over in free agency, I think that they're going to try to stalwart this running game. We do know Chip Kelly has a monster history, or has a monster running back production season history, but that doesn't stop me from believing at all that this is not going to go the way that the Raiders want it to go. Sorry, Raiders fans. But yeah, Ashton Jeanty, my running back 16 on the week, currently 8 in the quality stats projections or model, I guess. That's what Joseph, let me know which one you prefer. But anywho.
What's good? You know the phrase, the house always wins? Well, not anymore with our new sponsor, Profit X. Profit X, America's #1 sports prediction market, is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market where users play against each other instead of a sports book versus the house. You almost always get the best price in any spread, money line, total, and player prop since you're playing against other people rather than the book. It looks just like a sports book, but with way better odds. So what are you waiting for? Go download the app and use promo code FFD to claim up to $200 in profit cash on all the plays you use in the first 30 days of playing on site. Link in the description. Now, let's get down to business. Let's find a play we like this week. Let's see here. Let's go Pittsburgh versus Jets. A little showdown between X's, if you will, Rodgers versus Fields. I think Pittsburgh D is going to be all over the Jets offense. Garrett Wilson may struggle to find much space very often. Fields is going to be under pressure. We already got some offensive line issues over there in New York. We know the other pass catching options for the Jets are very limited. So when I add all that up, I like Breece Hall over 2.5 receptions week 1 versus Pittsburgh. So again, if you want some of the best odds going, go over to Profit X. It's peer-to-peer, so you're not playing against the book. It's a fun, exciting new way to play. Use promo code FFD. What are you waiting for? Go download it today.
We're moving on to my running back 10 on the week. That's going to be Kenneth Walker against San Francisco. San Francisco was notoriously porous against the run. They drafted a bunch of guys that are primed run stoppers. They drafted Alfred Collins out of Texas. They drafted Michael Walker out of Georgia. They drafted CJ West out of Indiana. That guy is one of my favorite players. I'm a former nose guard, so I absolutely love seeing, guys like CJ West. He'll probably be a guy that you won't pay much attention to. But anyway, they drafted a bunch of guys to stop the run. I don't know that that's going to work out that way, but we're going to find out. But Kenneth Walker comes into my RB 10 on the week. Currently in the quality stats projections, he is the running back 15. So a little bit of a difference there. Another too big, another too major. We can move on. My running back 11 on the week is going to be Alvin Kamara at home versus the Arizona Cardinals. Alvin Kamara was on pace to rush for his first 1,000-yard season last year. And then, he got the groin injury and finished with 950 yards. He averaged 19 fantasy points a game. If this offense isn't, just bear with me here. If you could, just let's do a thought exercise where the Saints aren't the absolute worst offense in football. And what does that mean for Alvin Kamara? Does that mean another 19 points a game? Does that mean 20 points a game? Does that mean 22 points a game? He's going to catch enough passes. He is the second most prolific option pass catching wise. Maybe, I would still put him ahead of Devon Achane. He finished with more targets than Devon Achane last year. So, yeah, I think that 100% Alvin Kamara is a strong play this week. He comes in at the RB 18 in the quality stats projections. Moving on, my running back 12, going to be James Conner at New Orleans. So, workhorse, coming off a career high in touches. He gets a soft matchup. The Saints were one of the most generous to the fantasy running back position last year. And I don't know that that's going to change. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with James Conner this week at New Orleans. This could be a lack of defense. This could be just the Cardinals being one of the most run-heavy teams in the entire NFL again. And if that's the case, I want in on James Conner. James Conner comes in, quality stats projections, running back 17. So a little bit more James Conner than the model likes. Moving on to my running back 13 of the week, that's going to be Josh Jacobs at Detroit. Now, Detroit does get back Aleem McNeil, noted run stuffer, defensive tackle extraordinaire, $100 million man. And I think that's going to play a role. They're going to have Jack Campbell and Malcolm Rodriguez back. So you can't bet against Josh Jacobs just because he is a workhorse and what we think will be an elite offense. So that's about as low as I'm comfortable having him, because Josh Jacobs can spike a running back 1 week at any given time. And he is one of those types of backs that could just have an outlier season where he's just in the zone and he gives you 150 and a touchdown. Unlikely, but it's possible. Moving on to running back 14, we've got Kyren Williams at Houston. Kyren Williams, again, he's West Coast Chase Brown that does not catch passes. He's going to handle the work inside the goal line. We see the pattern of usage with the McVay running backs over and over and over again. Unless something happens to Kyren, he is the man. He is the guy. And then, like I said, we already did Ashton Genty at running back 16. I'm a little bit less bullish. I just want to see what happens. I think the draft capital you spent will pay off. I think we just might have to have delayed gratification a bit, or he could make me eat crow and just show off all of his reasoning why he was a runner-up in the Heisman voting last year at Boise State. Running back 17. And I don't love this matchup at all. Breece Hall comes in at running back 17. There's questions. Elijah Vera Tucker is now set to miss the entire season. He's one of the best right guards in all of football. So that's a tremendous loss. Already we're looking at a stout Steelers unit that's going to be tough to pass on. And now we're going to take one of the most effective run blockers in the game out of the game in Elijah Vera Tucker. So Breece Hall comes in at 17 just because he is the type of guy that can make your week on one play. And I couldn't move him any lower. 18, you got James Cook. James Cook going out against the Baltimore Ravens in the Sunday Night Football game. This is never a matchup that you just really feast upon, but James Cook could spike a long run. I don't love this matchup this week. I don't, just being totally honest with you. And then at 19, I've got Amarion Hampton versus the Chiefs. I expect a rookie to get a stranglehold on this. If not the box score, just in terms of the physicality and the tone that he establishes, Najee Harris will be worked in, but I think it's going to be the kid's show to lose coming out of the gate. So there you go. Finishing it up, running back 20, DeAndre Swift versus the Minnesota Vikings. There's no competition for him. I mean, Ben Johnson quite literally does not know who Roschon Johnson is. Prove me wrong. Find me a press conference where he mentions Roschon Johnson. Anyway, Kyle Monangai is not going to come out of the gate. DeAndre Swift is going to get the ball first. And if he does well with that opportunity, I don't think he's going to cede touches to the 7th round rookie in Kyle Monangai. Running back 21, RJ Harvey, listed currently, I believe, 3rd on the Broncos depth chart, or he might be 2nd. Anyway, he's not the first running back, but we're not going to believe those shenanigans. We know that DeAndre Swift is going to, I said DeAndre Swift. We just talked about DeAndre Swift. RJ Harvey is going to catch passes. RJ Harvey is in one of the most fantasy-rich environments for a running back that you could ever ask for. And so that's why he lands here on the top 24 for week 1. So we're talking about a guy who was only 2nd in breakaway run rate to Ashton Genty at the collegiate level. Now, he does have a tendency to bounce runs. We'll see how that plays out. If he is consistently not churning out yardage and being effective on the ground, maybe J.K. Dobbins has more of a role than we want to admit. But right now, today, as we see it tonight, the NFL is kicking off, and we're talking about RJ Harvey in the most pass-happy environments of running backs. Yeah, sign me up for the guy Sean Payton picked to be a pass-catching joker role running back. Moving on, Tony Pollard at Denver. Look, there's no competition. Are you afraid of Khalil Mullings? No? Okay. So then we take Tony Pollard and we take whatever we get doled out this week. This is set up for a floor performance. I mean, you're happy with between 8 and 13 points this week. If he gives you more than that, then that's just an example, a taste, a sample of what is to come, because I do think this offense takes a step forward this year and beyond all things, tighten up. Now, the last two, a little bit controversial. I've got Travion Henderson here. I think Travion Henderson is about to give us an Alvin Kamara-esque style debut to the NFL. It's just going to be, well, this guy's just too good to keep off the field. So I am really excited to see what Travion Henderson does against this Las Vegas defense. They don't have anybody besides Max Crosby that really scares me. So yeah, sign me up for some Travion Henderson. I'm buying the hype. I bought the hype. I was drafting him in the 4th round. Tell me I'm crazy, but you can't tell me I don't know ball. And if you know ball, you know Travion Henderson is a certified baller. And last but not least, Aaron Jones, noted bear killer Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones gets the Chicago Bears in the Monday night matchup. I think that he's going to get the ball first. He's going to handle the pass catching duties. Between the 20s, he's going to be the guy. I think he's going to be a safety valve for the rookie, or I guess, the Ben Simmons rookie year for Mr. JJ McCarthy. So with that being the case, I think Aaron Jones is a really safe play against the Chicago front 7, where he's going to be able to operate in probably a check down fashion and chew up yardage in the receiving game, along with being able to be effective on the ground. So there you have it. 24 running backs in 20 minutes. I gave you some plays from the model. If you want more, you can go follow Joseph at Quality Koala. That's the word koala, T Stats, okay, over there on Twitter, and follow his Substack. For me, you know where you can find me here, FFD Fantasy, and you can find all the rest of my work on the link tree on the Twitter X at Chev90. This is your boy Chev GPT with the running back rankings. We'll be back tomorrow with the receiver rankings for the week. And until next time, there's ball watchers and ball knowers. Assign yourselves accordingly.